Live from Las Vegas at the GCA show. After 2 years of hiatus, we're back in Vegas. World's largest cardboard trade show booth. Live here in Martinsville, Indiana. Live from Norwood Royal Cigars.
When you guys said, you know, we want you to come on the show once a month, I was like, dude, this is it.
Happy afternoon here from cloudy Florida.
Happy afternoon.
Happy afternoon.
Presented by Kristoff Cigars, along with Hiram Solomon Cigars, and coming to you live from the Corona Cigar Company studios.
Here we are.
Happy afternoon.
Happy evening.
Happy evening, happy afternoon, happy morning, whatever
Happy
you're listening
birthday.
to. Happy birthday.
And welcome everybody to another Great Lake Smoke Show. Absolutely. And as the three characters always making fun of somebody, the happy one over there. They always seem to be happy no matter what time of the day.
Yes.
But, thank you, everybody. It's going to be a hot show tonight. We got one of our special guests, one of our sponsors, and a good man, a man that is really got his heart so deep into this industry. The passion that he has is really unbelievable. Every manufacturer needs to have the type of heart that this man has and believe in what he does.
Yes.
And we're so excited to have him. But before we do get going, I ask you all, please get your watch party and send it out now. Share the show with all you know. It's going to be an exciting show, very informative also. Lots of news coming out of this man's cigar camp, as we say. He's got a lot to tell you. But before we get started again, let me introduce us, because there's a lot of newbies out there.
Sure.
Who are we? Well, we're not just a bunch of choochers. But
Oh, yeah, we are.
Ronnie Pecorini. This is Kyle Jesso.
Hey, and I'm back from Vegas.
And the two characters sitting down here in Florida land is my brother, Retired Bob.
Retired
doing,
Bob
folks?
and Cousin Frank here, folks.
Cousin Frank. Hanging out.
By the way, Kyle, get that thing taken care of when you got back from Vegas?
Hey, we don't talk about that, Bob.
Right?
We'll talk about that. You can't talk about that, Bob. You got a red dot on your forehead now.
Jared's ready to put you on the Big Daddy. So, anyway, again, welcome aboard. Hey, you know what? You might want to get a paper and pen. There's going to be some great information coming out tonight about tonight's special guest and what he has going on. And then again, you can always look at the show again, which we always love to hear. And we're excited. We're really excited about what's going on.
Today's a special day. You're forgetting. Today is a very special day.
We haven't been there
We
yet.
have to do our due diligence.
Acknowledge.
We have to acknowledge all the, not just international, but domestic women of the world. It is your
domestic women of the world. Hey guys, everybody drink to that one, because Ronnie starts the show off with the domestic women of the world.
international country. What can I tell you?
Ronnie.
Drink also. So let's do
Why don't we give a salute to
A salute.
our International Women's Day and give them a big round of applause for all the women out there
Yes.
for everything.
And we have a lot of women who are watching, which is great.
It
That
is-
means
it's
that
not
we're
without-
expanding our reach.
Yeah, and it is not without you guys that we wouldn't be here where we are
True,
today
true.
without
You
you.
gave birth to us, so I'm sure.
Some of them regret it.
Well, they're also every great man always has a magnificent woman behind them.
Well, so
So
I'm
they
not
make
great then,
us.
huh?
Well, you're single. What can
Jeez.
I tell you? You know, but
Well.
you can soon find a wonderful wife to make you great. Also, what can I tell you? But yeah, for all you ladies, thank you so much for all you do and to put up with all the crap that we give you day in and day out. It has to be hard, especially those two guys in Florida. Oh man, those women are angels down there. They're saints. Oh, but anyway.
You should be talking,
You
right?
digress.
I don't understand what he's saying anyway.
Oh, you know darn well what I'm saying.
Ron doesn't know what he's saying. He's just blah, 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 blah.
Well, you know what? I'm going to blah, blah, blah right to our next guest. All right? I'm going to introduce the
wasn't there-
one. What do you want to say?
Wasn't there a Seinfeld yada, yada, yada?
Yada, yada,
Yada, yada, yada. Yep.
Oh, that's 2 weeks ago. Yes, yada, yada, yada. But anyway, we've been holding them in the green room long.
Green
room. Well, let's introduce the one and only Dr. Gaby Kafie of Kafie 1901 Cigars.
Doctor!
What's up, guys? How are you? It's
But
great to
actually,
be here.
Brew room.
He's in the
He's in the
blue
blue
red
room
room.
tonight.
We like that, Dr. Gabby.
The blue,
You
the
look
red
good.
room. Look at
You're
him.
looking younger.
He
I don't
does.
understand how that happens.
I think
It's-
Yeah.
It's the lighting. Man. Look at that.
He's
Oh,
ageless.
the cigars. He is ageless.
He's ageless.
I think he looks like 40 now. Forget about
It's the tobacco, guys.
Yeah,
I know.
Gabby is looking younger than I am. I mean, come on.
Hey, where did you guys go? I don't see you.
No,
Oh,
because
yeah.
we put up your beautiful graphic.
Oh, shit. That's great. You guys are fantastic, man.
How you doing, Gabby? How's everything
Oh
going?
my God! You know what? It's March the 8th, International Women's Day, and
Yeah.
some of us have domesticated our women. Some of us haven't.
Oh, I'm out of here.
I want no part of this discussion.
Oh.
I love it when our guests jump on Ronnie too.
I know.
Thank you, Doctor.
I need to talk to my wife. Apparently, Ronnie's doing things different. But
I think I
Put
need
it
to
this way,
go
we
hide
all
in-
know what I mean. So that's all that
yes,
matters.
yes, I thought it was beautiful, eloquent. We got the message, and you know what? We wouldn't be where we are today without them.
Mhm.
That's right.
Personal, business, everything.
For sure,
You know.
sure.
Yes.
I think things are good, guys. You know, lots of changes coming our way.
Yeah.
Yes.
Boy, you know, there's three phases to kind of what I went through the past year.
Okay.
You guys know we had obviously 2 hurricanes that hit Central America.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Then we had a pandemic.
Yeah.
Then we had some really turbulent politics take place in the country. And I think when I'm not speaking for anybody else in the cigar industry,
Mhm.
but when it comes to the way I operate or the way that I envision our company and its future, I don't like political turmoil. I'm not a fan of left-leaning socialist dictator type presidents. Now that really hasn't happened yet, but I see the writing on the wall. and the cigar industry, the tobacco industry, as it pertains to premium cigars, is going through a lot of pain right now, especially when it comes to the small producers.
Yes.
So what's happening now is the big are getting bigger. They're
Mhm.
consolidating more. They're really wanting to control more of their own tobacco. And the smaller players, like myself in Honduras, were really having a difficult time attaining the tobacco that we were used to getting 2-3 years back.
Right.
So, not everything is, oh wow, we're elevating, but we are trying to solve problems constantly. And everybody always comes on a show and says, "Oh yeah, everything's great, fantastic." It's not fantastic. It's not great. The cigar industry, I think, is in probably the biggest crisis, if not now, I think over the next year, when it comes to family-owned cigar companies.
Right.
We're going to experience some real pain in the next year or two. I don't think it'll go 3-4 years out. The big companies are consolidating. They've got 5 and 10-year plans. Our plans are really more, because of our finances, very more short term, 6 months, a year, 2 years max.
Mm-hmm.
But whatever you guys want to talk about, I'm excited. Let's get into it.
Excellent.
Well, I mean, why don't we actually talk about your beginnings for a lot of new people who really don't know you. We have a lot of people online. Let's take your beginnings and then from Honduras to your new adventure.
Wow. So the Kafie 1901 company is my baby. It's what I really envisioned, and it represents a family story dating back to 1901 to Central America and Honduras. The Kafies are a very linear family. The name has never really gotten diluted. So if you meet a Kafie, we're related, first or second cousins at the most. We're like many families, immigrants, originally from Bethlehem. My grandfather made his way to England, from England to New York to Central America in 1901. And it's a beautiful story. And what I want to do is kind of bring it to life through our cigar company. Many of my uncles were cigar lovers, as I have been for the past, since 18. We're going on 32 years of enjoying premium cigars.
Wow.
Right.
This is not an addiction. It's not a vice. It's something that, believe it or not, they helped me get through medical school late at night. When you pull all-nighters, you need a companion.
Yeah.
Some of my friends were smoking weed. I was smoking cigars.
I mean, when it really comes down to it, it's more of the hobby. I mean, it's just a great hobby that we all enjoy.
It's a hobby, exactly, and of course, it's a hobby for adults.
Yes.
But my story was kind of unique in that, as much as I'm all in whatever I do in life, right? So the first half of my life, I wanted to be a sports medicine doctor. So I went to undergrad in California, did my pre-med, came out to Florida because they had the #1 sports medicine program in the country at Berger University. And I did everything that I wanted to do. Did some amazing things with my career. My residency, my fellowship. It was difficult. I'd never lived for such a long span of time broke. I mean, I'm an expert at living broke. So I went from literally 18 to about 30 being a student, which is, professional. You're a professional student. That's all you have to do, nothing else. You're not working. Although I did work on the side, I always focused on school, and cigars were always a part of my lifestyle, whether I was fly fishing in Biscayne Bay or in Flamingo, whether if I was freshwater trout fishing. It didn't matter what type of fishing I was doing. I was offshore, off the coast of Honduras or Nicaragua or Florida. Cigars were always, that was the first thing I packed before my underwear on any trip that I took.
Right after the beer, right? Right after the beer, it was.
So what happens is that in 2008, 2009, I started to see I'm mixing stories now. 2008, I developed an eye condition called central serous chorioretinopathy, which caused both of my retinas to partially detach.
Wow.
And it was about a 3 to 4 year process that I went through. But effective when I was first diagnosed, the doctors would not release me to practice medicine or do surgery any longer. So my career came to a screeching halt in 2008. And I spent about 3 to 4 years really going through a very difficult time in my life, having had lost everything that I had built the first 40 years of my life. It's very interesting because, you know, I was married. I had a son, my son Gabriel. And it's this moment in my life where it's like somebody just took an eraser and just started erasing everything that I had built.
Ouch.
And you know what? I found a lot of consolation in deep thought late at night after my wife and my son went to bed. I'd sit outside and I'd have a cigar. And my life kind of, it turned into figuring out, I didn't really need to figure out what my other passions were. I had other passions. I loved offshore fishing. That was my biggest thing. That's what
Nice.
One of the main reasons I came out to Florida, besides the great program at Berger University, was for offshore fishing.
Ooh.
And I started doing, I participated in every big game fishing tournament down here. And what's beautiful is, you know, it's kind of a shame because we've got a bunch of trophies in the house, but it's a shame that I haven't been able to take my children on that journey yet.
Okay.
I hope to soon. I want to get them addicted to fishing. It's a beautiful vice to have.
What's the biggest you caught?
God, it's, you know what? I've caught everything out there. Swordfish, black marlin, blue marlin, white marlin,
Wow.
Any
wahoo,
tuna?
tuna, yellow. Oh, yeah. We caught multiple types of blackfin, yellowfin.
Wow.
So in my fishing journey, I actually had this crazy idea of developing a big game fishing lures company.
Mm-hmm.
So I started a company called Roatan Lures.
Wow.
ROA, like the island of Roatan off the coast of Honduras.
Right.
You see, back in the days, my father, Fernando Kafie, may he rest in peace, was the best salesman for the family business going back to the 1940s, 50s, and 60s, right? He was the number one salesman in the entire territory of Honduras, traveling for the family business back in those days, literally by horse. And what happened was that my father would always tell me stories about how whenever he would travel to Roatan, he would go in a small wooden panga, which was literally carved out of a huge tree trunk.
Yeah.
Right.
These pangas had little outboard motors. I don't even know what types of motors. I guarantee you,
They were lucky if they ran.
Lawnmower
engine.
yes.
Not safe, whatever it was.
You know, it was a good distance, if I remember, around 8 to 10 miles or 25 kilometers from the mainland of the north coast of Honduras to Roatan. And the mate, which they call chane,
Okay.
the mate would always, my father would travel wearing a suit and a handkerchief in his top pocket. And the mate would always ask him every time he'd go, every 3 to 4 months to the island.
Yeah.
You know, hey boss, you mind if I have your handkerchief? And my father would give it to him, and he'd obviously give him a couple more that he was carrying.
Yeah.
And the mate would rip them in half. And then he had these yo-yos on the panga, where he would tie the white handkerchief on the eye of the hook.
Wow. So he used it as a lure.
So he would toss them over on their way across to the island. They were actually fishing using my dad's ripped handkerchief.
That is amazing.
So what happens is that Kafie 1901 is not just a cigar brand. It is about the history of a family that, in my opinion, helped build Honduras to the country that it is today. Now, unfortunately, because of political parties and corruption, these are very sensitive topics to talk about. I got to make sure there's no red dot appearing on my.
No, it's only on Bob's head. Don't
You're
worry.
good. You're good for now. You're good for now.
So, because of political parties and corruption in those countries, it was my father's vision to leave Honduras and bring us to the United States when we were young boys. I was about 6 years old. My brother was about 9, my older brother. And my father's dream and my mother's dream was for us to grow up in this country, become educated, and live free without having to answer to any family, any government, any form of, let's call it, when you're a part of a big family, you're at the bottom of that pyramid.
Right.
And you know, when my grandparents were first generation, the second generation was 11 people. The third generation was about 80. Wow. Now we're on to the fourth generation. There's about 200 plus people that are Kafie family members. And my father took us out of that pyramid. And now, mind you, some of them down there are doing great. Some of them are not. But I can't complain with where we're at. I think we're blessed.
Right.
So our Kafie 1901 and what I decided to build was, I think it's a journey. Our cigar company is a journey, and it's a journey of immigrants. It's a journey of entrepreneurs. Now that we have moved our operations from Honduras to the Dominican Republic, we're changing all of our packaging. And our packaging will feature kind of like the Honduras crest, the Dominican Republic crest, and the United States crest. So it's a story about a journey, and I think it's just the beginning of many, many more years to come of what we can create in this beautiful industry, because this is an industry of storytelling.
Yeah, that's right.
You know, go ahead.
It is. It truly is, because each cigar actually tells a story from beginning to end, from taking it out of the cello to smoking it to the nub. It's a journey through that cigar, and that cigar actually, when it's a good cigar, it brings you along, and it kind of gives you the story of its. From the soil to everything, to the folks who are rolling. It's a beautiful story, each and every one.
You know, I'm a student of our industry, and if we go back, let's say 50 to 100 years, it used to be a industry of families and of family stories. You know, and we can all think of the 3, 4, 5, 6 families that have been around for a long time.
Right.
And then there's a creative component to our industry where we start getting a lot of just kind of, I call them like hit and run brands. Like they're introduced and then they disappear. They come and go. And the cigar industry is so diverse that there's room for everybody.
Right.
But over the past 5 years, I've really noticed that the concept of fiction brands, and I call them fiction brands because they're just made up names or designs, or, you know, the concept of a fiction brand has blown. I mean, it's just
true.
80% of the noise that you see.
Right.
And I always tend to do the exact opposite of what everybody's doing. So the more the industry goes in a fiction direction, the more I like to anchor myself and build the Kafie 1901 brand, which is a beautiful family story. And we're approaching almost 10 years in the tobacco business. And during those 10 years, we've done some great things and shed some great light. And we've even built international partnerships with 48 international distributors that carry our brands.
Wow.
So there's a lot of people that support our brand. And it's just, like I said, there's enough room for everybody. But this is I'm asking myself this question after all that has happened and where I'm at today. I'll tell you what, guys, not in my wildest dreams did I ever think it would be this difficult.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it was tough to become a doctor. There's no easy road.
no.
So I think that knowledge that you brought with you of that struggle, because it is a struggle. That's not for everyone, and everyone cannot come out of that, with
Yeah.
degrees. So that journey gave you the strength, really, and your family, both from your wife, your children, and your history, enables you to get to this place right now where you are today.
Wow.
Yeah.
Can I
Well,
ask you?
Gabby, it's just the big thing is that just to get into the cigar industry is a big step, but to actually be successful, it's not only a passion, but you have to throw your life 24/7 into this. It's a business you just don't do part-time or start with maybe 100 boxes or something and have a job. I mean, the success of a manufacturer is full-time, 24/7 in this, and the family becomes part of it because you're riding the journey together. It's a roller coaster ride, the ups and downs, but to be successful, as you have shown to so many.
Wow. Thank you. Thank you.
You eat and sleep this business, and because of that, you are where you are today, and really the sky's the limit for you, Gabby.
Wow. Thank you so much. Thank you, guys.
Oh, we
I ask you,
smoked everything. And
from Honduras to the Dominican, what are we to expect as far as the cigars? Will there be major changes, as far as the leaf or, the whole production of your, what I'll call a legend in
in a short period of time?
Yeah,
truly.
really.
Oh, bless you, man. Bless you. Don't use the word legend because most of them are dead. All right, just don't do that.
Icon.
That's a good word. That's a good word.
I see Vivian going through my insurance papers already.
Oh, she's a smart woman.
Yeah. So, Honduras, right? Honduras was literally, if I could be really, really just Honduras, was where I jumped in. I went all in. How convenient is it to travel to Honduras? And God bless my mother. She has a house there. I get to go and stay with her. My sister's got a house there. There's cars. There's family. It's just Honduras. It's like going home and then working at a factory. I mean, who has it that good? Nobody does. Mm-hmm. And so for me, Honduras was a great place to start. And then the journey, because I learned some very powerful things, and most people don't really talk about this, but in Honduras, there's only 12 cigar factories.
Okay.
When you go to Nicaragua, there's an estimate of 180 cigar factories in Nicaragua.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a hustling industry there, right? I mean, it's massive.
Right.
And of course, the DR is, they just stay quiet on an island, and I'm discovering why. When you got something good, you stay quiet, right?
There you go.
Mm-hmm.
And what happened was that I started to get frustrated at the tobacco supplies in Honduras. I started to get frustrated at the families that weren't willing to share crops with us. Okay. I started to get frustrated at friendships that I had for the past 30 fucking years, okay? 30 years!
Yeah.
I went to their wedding. They went to mine. We were best friends. We slept. We did everything together, right?
Yeah.
But then what happens is I'm going down the right path. I'm growing my business, growing my company, and then we're not allowed to buy their tobacco any longer.
Wow.
So, that what happens is, people don't know what it's like to get stabbed in the back unless you're really putting your money in the line, Right. And what that does is that doesn't get me angry. I just want to shed some light because everybody's always painting this industry like, oh, beautiful, rosy industry. It's gorgeous. I could slap a cigar band on a stick and go store to store and become famous. That couldn't be further from the truth.
It's a
This
business.
It's
It's a business like any other business.
Correct. And there are people that will put you out of business. There are people that will want to limit your growth potential. There are people that will sabotage your tobacco. There are people that will send you cigars that you didn't create. I've seen everything. You will get shipments. All right. This all happened to me. All right. And I'm not going to say which factory or who did it, but I've received shipments from Honduras in the past where after they painted the boxes, they didn't let them dry before they stuck the cigars in. Okay.
Oh,
So I hear people complaining, oh, this cigar has a tight draw and they act like the sky is falling. I understand every detail with the cigar is important.
Yes.
But in the shoes of a manufacturer, because I don't live in Honduras and I'm receiving these huge shipments, 20, 40, 80,000 cigars at a time. And when they all smell like paint, talk about setbacks.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Talk about having to destroy an entire lot.
Yeah.
And you can't even announce why you destroyed it because people will be like, what the hell is he doing?
Yeah. Yeah.
So, but we're going back 7-8 years now. I've learned so much through so many mistakes. And one of the most important things I've learned is to deal with the best people in the industry.
Yeah.
You can't. Jose Blanco did a show. I was watching their show on Sunday. He was talking about all these Mickey Mouse factories. You know, and at some point, I got to be honest with you, I think that term applied to us as well. No matter how hard we worked in Honduras, there were times when we were running a Mickey Mouse show because we didn't have cellophane, we didn't have wood, we couldn't get tobacco. It happens to everybody. But so in order to improve our working conditions, you have to invest more and more and more. And right now where we are, you guys, is I've never invested so much capital than 2022 in the history of any business or of anything I've ever done in my life.
Wow.
This is the year we're going all in. And this is our 8th year in the business. And 8 years in, I still have to continue to invest the most money I've ever put in to try to achieve what it is that I want to achieve in this business.
Wow.
Well, you're learning every day, Gaby. Every day is just another lesson. And again, it's a roller ride. You're going to go up and down, up and down.
Yeah.
You know, you're supposed to enjoy the journey with the good and the bad. You know, the journey ends when you're 6 feet under, you know, and then you become an ash yourself. But, you know, what you're doing is just because it's 8 years, you're learning and you're tweaking and knowing you like I do, you are a perfectionist. You're going to make it right because your name is on it.
Yeah.
When your name is on that cigar, you take it to a whole nother level in your heart and your passion, and you're going to make it right. The littlest things, you're still going to make sure that is 100% correct because of your name, and people will recognize that now more than ever. You know, there's 300 more or less boutique cigar companies out there. You could get lost in any of these very quickly, and you have to do the science and the research now more than ever because there are a lot more people smoking now. Are educated, and there is so many options.
Correct.
You have to make sure each and every stick that you is got to be to that person's flavor, and they're going to like it. So that's where they say, hey, I want another Kafie like the Maduro that I'm smoking right now, the Torpedo. It is unbelievable. I mean, we're all smoking your stuff, and I know Bob and I, when we first jumped on board with you, we had 9 different cigars from your line, and it was a grand slam. I mean, Bob and I could not have enjoyed any one more because it was just one as good as the other, and each one was a grand slam.
Yeah.
And I know that is your MO. You
Yeah.
want to put out the
It is.
best possible
It is.
product.
It is. I appreciate that so much. Listen, before we continue, I want to apologize for dropping a couple F-bombs there. I really,
That's the
No,
passion.
but
And
I
that's the
understand.
passion. Don't worry about it. Kyle will fix it later.
That's all right.
Yeah,
I tell you this, Dr. Gaby Kafie, I've got something I want to switch a little gears, but before we go into that segment, why don't we hear a little bit from our sponsors and take a little break, and then when we come back, I got a question and want to go in a little bit of different direction, but kind of cigar related. And we'll get back to you and have that question for you.
Perfect. Let's do it.
Before you go, Frank, hold on. Dr. Oscar Rodriguez says he wants to be just like you when he grows up, but just a little more hair. Thank you, Oscar. Take it away, Frank.
This industry is steeped in family and tradition. You know, there's generational stuff, and I see it over and over, and yet, no, I didn't come from that. Being the outsider looking in, I got to ask all the silly questions, and people were very accepting to want to give me all the right answers. I'm very thankful for those people who kind of allowed me to come in. Now with Alec and Bradley in the business, to have our company become generational, that's pretty cool.
Cigar in the Bottle is 2 palate-pleasing gifts in 1. A specially blended Grand Pommier XS VSOP cognac is elegantly contained in patented numbered bottles. Winner of back-to-back medals at the LA Spirits Awards, Cigar in the Bottle inventor Forbidden Johnny teams up with Vartan and Hendrik Kellner for this custom-blended Vartan Reserva cigar, well-preserved in a hand-blown glass chamber featuring Boveda 2-way humidification.
This is Phil Morgan, General Manager of Missouri Meerschaum Corncob Pipes in Washington, Missouri. Our mission since 1869 has been to produce great smoking pipes that anyone can afford. We guarantee our pipes won't be your most expensive, but they just might be the ones you smoke the most. At Missouri Meerschaum Company, we don't just sell our corncob pipes, we grow them, make them, and smoke them. Missouri Meerschaum, Washington, Missouri, since 1869.
At Norwood Royal Cigars, we have the biggest walk-in humidor in the Midwest. Our 1,500 square foot humidor is home to almost 4,000 different cigars that will meet the need of any cigar enthusiast. We have boutique blends to the more traditional selections and everything in between. From the novice beginner to the aficionado, the knowledgeable staff at NRC will find the perfect cigar for you. Located on the northwest side of Chicago, we want to be your shop for all your cigar wants and needs. As always, at Norwood Royal Cigars, light it, smoke it, love it.
We're back.
We are back.
Frank and I are smoking the same cigar.
We're smoking
and we
the
were just
Sumatra.
talking about, first of all, how delicious it is.
Yeah, and we want to say, first of all, the minute that you open the cello, floral notes are immediate.
Outstanding.
Wow.
The bomb,
But
as
what
I
I'm
like to say.
Thank you.
curious, now that you've moved your operation, are we to expect the same consistency, or will there be variations in your line?
So I've decided to produce only shitty cigars moving forward.
Cigar, you know, I want to change.
Listen,
I'm in favor of pretty cigars.
I love it. I love it. And we're going to cut the price in half. We're going to do buy one, get one free on everything we do. All right. Oh, I love you guys. You know, that's a great question because, like we talked about, the cigar industry is a learning experience. It's really mental. It's about 95% of what a cigar is happens before it gets to the cigar roller's table.
Mm-hmm.
And those are things that I'm learning continuously. And right now, for the past, I'd say 6 months, I've been working with a great man named Manuel Inoa, who is a 30-year veteran at La Aurora Cigars Factory. And the stuff that I've learned from him, I'm like a dry sponge, right? I pick up things quick, but I don't pick them up. I understand the concept.
Yeah.
It's about concepts and methods. It's not about memorizing,
Right.
useless information. And when you're in the belly of a beast that was established in 1903, I've been walking the oldest cigar factory in the entire Dominican Republic, and for that matter, all of Honduras, all of Nicaragua, all of Costa Rica. It is the oldest cigar factory in existence in our industry. And I do believe the Newmans might be older here in the U.S. So when you take this type of a mentality of, multiple generations that have been processing and handling tobacco, I now have to relearn things.
Right.
It's kind of like, I feel like I'm that kid that was playing golf, but I picked up bad habits along the way.
Right.
And now I got to reprogram my brain and body to learn how to swing.
Right.
And that's exactly what I'm going through. And the things that I'm learning is there was a lot of things that were frustrating me with tobacco in the past at our own factory. And now I'm realizing that the limits where we were taking tobacco to in terms of fermentation and aging and blending, where we were reaching a limit, a factory like La Aurora is just getting started.
Right.
Wow.
So where and I got no beef telling everybody, hey, look, we weren't there.
Yeah.
I acknowledge it. I accept it. But that's part of the learning is no
Right.
matter how, it's just mind-boggling. If we were able to do what we did with those limitations, now that roof has come off.
Right.
And now we're learning things. I'm learning stuff about how fermentation changes from where the tobacco was harvested from, the type of soil, the type of nutrients, the type of hydration the plant received, the type of sun exposure. There's things that are pre-industry, multiple factors that go into getting the tobacco to where it needs to be. I'll give you an example that's real simple. Moving forward, we are not using any tobaccos that are less than 4 years aged.
Wow.
So before, our average was 2 to 3 years. So when you take tobacco, and this is where the really expensive part of cigar making comes in, is when you're using a minimum of 4-year aged tobacco to put in your blends, that's very capital intensive. Our costs of production have gone up. But you know what? That is where I want to be. I want every time I hand a cigar to someone to be as if though I'm handing a cigar to the editor-in-chief of one of these great magazines or one of these great blogs, and they're going to do a review on it.
Right.
See, before I didn't have that comfort level. Before I was kind of like, I was always nervous as to what I was going to be handing somebody because I know we weren't operating at peak levels.
Right.
Now it's a different animal.
Yeah, but you did achieve that with your old line.
Thank you.
All right,
Thank
you did. And I
that's
think
what
I
I'm
speak for all 4 of us. We simply truly enjoyed all your smokes. They were fantastic.
Thank you so much.
I can just imagine the next level.
The next gen, I'm calling it. Next generation.
Absolutely.
Kafie 2.0.
Yes. That's awesome.
So when is Kafie 2.0 going to be?
Wow,
We're going to get our hands on these things.
4 years from today.
So we are actually about, I'd say, 3 months away from shipments starting to arrive to the U.S.
Oh, wow.
Now, when we went to the DR, we did not go there to invent or create new blends. We took blends that I already had in existence and literally just remade them with the help of Manuel Noah. I'm going to tell you guys something. Without him, I would not have been able to do the switch.
Okay.
I mean, we sat together and it was like he was reading my mind. It's like he knew where I wanted to go, what I wanted to create. And I never want to diminish all the struggles or all the expenses or all the people and the team that we had in the past.
Right.
I think everybody serves a purpose
Right.
at that time. And, we've seen great companies move production from one place to another. This is not a perfect industry. We don't control politics. I can't control the next elections of Honduras, although, well, I'm not going to get into that because I might get in trouble. Yeah.
Careful! I think I saw a red dot for a brief second there.
Let me duck. But here I am leaving Honduras because it's funny. We're friends with the president who's there now. It was funny. Her son Hector was in Miami a few months ago, and my son and I are at a store shopping, and we ran into the president's son, and we were like, "Hey, Hector, how are you?" And it was like, "How's the cigar business? How's politics?" We don't dislike these people, but we want to work in a place where capitalism is something good. Right. Where we create jobs, where we can reinvest and not worry about our money.
Right.
And as much as I want to say I have concerns for Central America, I mean, look what's happening here. President Biden just sent delegates to Venezuela to purchase oil.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, maybe I fucked up. Maybe I should have stayed in Honduras.
No. You're doing good. You're doing good.
Maybe I wanted to switch gears just a little bit and kind of talk about your other baby, which is Kafie coffee line.
Yes.
Amazing.
Yes, thank you.
Delicious.
So
delicious.
Tell us a little bit how because I believe this is part of your wife's family's history is the coffee. How did that process go for you guys getting involved with the coffee and the beans and the selection process to make an amazing coffee that you have today?
My wife is she's gonna punch me after the show. Listen,
I want to see it. Tell her come on in now. Vivian!
Listen, cigars and coffee is like cocaine and hookers. They go perfectly together. It's like the best pairing, right? It's the best pairing. So since I don't invest in those things, I figured I might as well do the coffee, right?
Right.
But my wife's family is one of those families like ours, like the Kafies. Her grandmother is a Gafati family of Honduras. They got there in the 1890s. They are huge landowners, and they're coffee cultivators and exporters and roasters. And so they built the first coffee company, and I think it was 1935. If you see a book flying, you know.
I see Vivian's a little monkey with the eyes closed. Yes, Vivian is listening.
See no evil here.
Oh God, I love it. That's crazy. I'm gonna sleep in the office tonight.
Lock the doors, Vivian. He's not coming home.
The more I found out about what her family story was with the coffee, the more I realized, wow, these guys were the pioneers in Honduras to commercialize coffee. There's a couple of companies. One is Café El Indio and Café Maya. Ironically, the president of Honduras, the son that I mentioned, Hector, married into Vivian's family. And so now they're part owners in the coffee company, which we're still importing coffee and we're still roasting coffee here.
Okay.
So we have direct access to some of the best coffees coming out of Honduras. And about 3 years ago, my cousin Emil, who is part of the roasting operation here in Miami, they roast a major brand here called Don Pablo Coffee. I don't know if you've heard of Don Pablo.
No, I haven't heard of
that. They basically have a deal with every Costco in America. And
oh, really?
Yeah.
Don Pablo, yes, of course.
Okay. So,
yes, now I know.
Perfect. So my cousin handles importing coffee for them as well.
Wow.
Okay.
And we share in the roasting facility that they have. What's amazing is that coffee has no barriers. And one thing Emil approached us with, about 3 years ago was they were really heavily focused on Colombian and Honduran coffee. Because Don Pablo's wife is Colombian, so the two families came together and they started bringing in Colombian and Honduran coffee. Wow. But Emil, being a main importer of coffee, he started really specializing in single source Arabica bean coffees. And 3 years ago when we met, and he started showing me coffee from Ethiopia, which, by the way, is where the whole concept of the Arabica term,
right?
Arabica, Northern Africa, Arab. Coffee originated in Ethiopia. So when we could get our hands on Ethiopian coffee, we did.
Great coffee. Oh, it's great.
Yes.
Then we started getting coffee from Sumatra, from Brazil. There's a couple other regions that we also source from. I can't think of them right now, but they are all on our website on boutiquesmoke.com.
That's awesome.
And what we've done is a lot of retailers caught on quick and they jumped on and they want to carry our coffee and cigars. But I think every retail store in America needs to carry, when I say retail, I mean brick and mortar cigar shop.
Yes.
They should have an entire section of just coffees.
I agree.
Oh, yeah.
This way they can pair with different cigars from different regions.
Absolutely. I think that would be very smart. And it's not a lot of shelf. Even if you have a couple where people can then pre-order or whatever, it gives people a chance to try something different other than, walking down the aisle at Publix.
Well, and if nobody has ever had coffee with your cigar, I challenge you to go and do this on your next smoke, because it'll change your life. Because I started doing it a long time ago, and actually I got this man onto it because he's like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "I'm having coffee." He's like, "Really?" I'm like, "Dude, you got to try this. You have to try a coffee and a cigar. It's life changing because they pair immediately with each other.
They pair fantastic because of the types of products that they are. They're rich in sugars and oils, but more so is because of the geographical location of where tobacco grows in the valleys, and in the mountains, that's where the coffee's being harvested.
Right. So they complement each other.
They complement each other very well. And what's interesting is countries like Peru and Honduras is they're not only growing coffee, they're growing cocoa.
Right.
Which is a venture that I'm looking to get into.
Yes.
I want to be able to offer different types of chocolates to pair our cigars with.
Perfect.
I'm just putting this hint out there. I mean, you do with what you want, Gabby, but I love dark chocolate, just between you and I.
Yes. I love it.
I'm right there too, man. Dark chocolate.
Gabby, we have one of our good listeners, Joe. He wants to know if you can pair one of your coffees with a whiskey, scotch, or bourbon. Joe, with the cigar. Anything that you can pick out? Because I know Teresa and I drink your coffee all the time. That's what we drink here at the house, and we're sold on it. It's just really, folks, like Kyle says.
Wow, thank you.
We challenge you to get.
And Ronnie, I think you have to introduce Joe as a co-host now on a quarterly part of our show, we're doing pairings with whiskey. Ronnie just introduced him as a listener.
I know.
Hey, Joe, you just got demoted, by the way, on the podcast. So,
Joe, that's a really good question. What I would do personally is I'd get some of our Sumatra bean coffee. I say Sumatra because it's a lighter roast.
Right.
It's not that dark. What's interesting about a lighter roast is you'll get fruitier flavors, and you'll actually get a higher caffeine kick from a lighter roast.
Yes.
But I would take a real dark bourbon, take a pound of Sumatra coffee, literally just kind of wash them out, not too heavy, just
a little spritz.
Give them a little sprinkle, get your hand in there, make sure they're all nice and soaked, and then just leave them out to dry. And about 2 days later, after they dry, and make sure you're kind of like flipping them so they don't stay wet on the bottom.
Yes.
Make sure they dry thoroughly, and then go ahead and put it through the grinder, and then have yourself some coffee.
Smoke the cigar. And smoke the Sumatra cigar.
It would be. That's a delicious bourbon infused coffee that it has to be a real dark bourbon though.
Gotcha.
If it's
I'm going to do that.
Nice.
If it's a light bourbon, it'll evaporate too quick, and you won't get those caramelly flavors from the bourbon to come out. That's a great question, man. Nice job.
Oh yeah.
Now, if you really want to go crazy, is while they're soaking in the bourbon, and this is no joke, all right?
And then drink
a day after. Take your cigars, put them in the coffee, and cover it. And don't touch this. Don't touch them for about a week.
Ooh.
So come back a week later. You have to have a sacrificial humidor when you
yes,
do stuff.
yes.
So take it over your
You know what works well for that? A Tupperware. Yes, use a Tupperware.
No, but you actually want to use a humidor, a cedar line, because it breathes.
Okay.
You don't want to grow mold. You want it to breathe so that it does dry. It's a great point, but those are great questions, man. I've done that in the past, and what I've ended up with is we took our bundle cigars, literally our most, I hate to use the word cheap.
Basic.
Our best value.
Right. Great value, Doctor.
Great value. Thank you. We got the cheap fucking cigars, all right?
Shitty cigars.
And I could not believe. Listen, I could not believe what they became. It was like I was smoking a $30 cigar.
Wow.
I'm going to do this.
Wow. Dude, my mouth is salivating just thinking about this right now.
Well, you're a big coffee guy.
I love coffee.
Bob and I and Frank, you too.
I love coffee with
cappuccino.
We do that all the time. In the local lounge that we go to, Frank and I always have coffee first.
Yep. And
then we go to our bourbon, of course, for the rest of the day. But it's always start off with a cup of coffee. Yeah.
Cappuccino.
That's great. That's great. Good question. But you know, the transition to the Dominican Republic is a big one. It's a big commitment. I can't screw this one up. You know, I'm like sometimes I'm like Tommy Boy. You know, the trying to sell auto parts. You guys remember when he set the car on fire on the executive?
Gabby, the wife is chiming in. And she says, I think Joe was asking what kind of whiskey to pair, not just coffee.
The international woman is stepping in.
You know what?
By the way, it says, and then lock the door.
Yeah, she did lock the door. So
hold on. Let me see. Hold on.
International Women's Day.
Oh, Jesus.
But where would the good doctor be without a great woman behind him? You know,
recover
while he makes good.
So hold on. No, I'm going through my liquor cabinet here.
Okay.
So you know what I would do, guys? Instead of a whiskey,
you thinking rum?
Yeah, let me show you guys a rum.
I love rum. Oh my gosh, like a Zacapa.
Zacapa, we love Zacapa.
Yeah.
No, this is
let me get a close of that.
It's Kirk and Sweeney.
Ooh.
So, you guys,
beautiful.
You could use a nice dark rum, very little of it. This will go very far when you're mixing it with the coffee. I would do anything really dark. I'm not much into bourbons, although I do like some of this Angel's Envy.
That's a great one.
That's a good one.
It is a different type, but yeah, this is perfect. But yeah, my wife is. Is there a way you can knock her off the show?
International women right now.
Oh, sorry. Yes. Yeah. I need to domesticate her. That's what.
Oh, 2 days now.
I'm not getting paid this week. I'm not getting paid this week. But it's all good. You know what's funny is everything we do 50-50, right? Everything. Lately, I'm not going to get into legal stuff, but lots of couples go into estate planning in case somebody croaks, and
Right.
everything is in both our names. So like, unless we both shit ourselves and die, then
3 days in a dog.
yeah, 3 days, right? Exactly.
Keeping track for
I
you.
think you're digging a deeper hole, Doctor.
And as a good friend of ours, Josh says, and also sponsor from Cedar Creek, he's like, he made me drink that rum when I was down there. Horrible peer pressure.
Yeah, Josh. Try it again, though. Don't worry, he'll do it.
I've actually upgraded my rum collection. I love rums, because cigar countries are also rum countries.
Yes. That's true.
Yeah.
So there's three things: sugarcane, there's coffee, and there's tobacco.
Right.
And when anytime you travel to a new a tobacco country, you have to really look into their rums.
Right.
The only one I've never visited was Cuba. I think
Okay.
Cuba's the only country that is. I don't know if I want to go. Everybody wants to go, but I have trouble supporting or spending my hard-earned U.S. dollars in a country where everything is owned by the government.
Right.
I don't know. There's so many different philosophies about that. I just
understand.
I'd rather spend my money elsewhere because there's people in need everywhere, and yeah, Cuba. I'm not a fan of Cuban politics.
Yeah, I don't think too many people are.
No,
especially the Cubans who fled there. So
yeah.
I can tell you this: they have a hell of a coffee too. Because last week, while I was out in Vegas, a good friend of mine who has Cuban roots, we're sitting around the breakfast table, and he goes to me, he's like, "You ever had a Cuban espresso?" And I'm like, "No," and he's like, "I'm going to make you a Cuban espresso right now." And he went into the kitchen and whipped up a batch of Cuban espresso.
Oh,
And
beautiful.
my Lord, that was
Yes,
life
yes.
changing. That was a life changing experience right there. I mean, as a coffee aficionado, that Cuban coffee just hit
Pretty
on
awesome,
a different level. Oh my Lord, it was very, very delicious.
You know, the whole if you study the history of merchants and trade, and you go back 500, 600, 700 years, even further back to, we can go into the Ottoman Empire, North Africa, Ethiopia, the Turks. You can look at every country has their own version of an espresso, right? Like the Armenians, the Arabs have the Turks have Turkish coffee, Arabic coffee. It's all espresso. It's very thick.
Yes,
It's very.
as long as your spoon can stand up in the cup, you know.
It's mud.
So there was a moment in time where the North Africans migrated their way to Europe and made their way to Spain, and they were known as the Moors.
Right.
It was a cultural mix of Arabs and Spaniards, and those people ended up traveling to the Americas and colonizing places like Cuba. And there were stories. I've spent time off the coast of Cancun in Isla Mujeres, and I was fascinated to find out 500 years ago that island got its name because as the sailors were traveling, literally island hopping to see what they could rape and pillage,
Right.
they would leave the women on Isla Mujeres safe. So it was an island where all the women were left behind as they were making their way down the Lesser Antilles. So we're all connected. You can look at tobacco history going back to the Canary Islands 700-800 years ago. So Cuba was the first country to commercialize premium cigars.
Right.
That's why it's become like the holy grail of cigars. But tobacco's been around South America, Central America, the Mayans, the Incas, and those merchants that sailed those waters were taking tobacco back to Spain and the Canary Islands. Most people don't know this, but some of the greatest brands developed in Cuba, like I think it was Jose Jenner brand, was a Spanish banker.
Wow.
It was people that had nothing to do with cigars or tobacco. They just wanted a brand of cigars.
Mhm.
So for the past 200 years, there's always been people that wanted their own brand of cigars. This is nothing new.
Right.
In fact, in 1900, in the year 1900, in the United States, United Cigar Company had more brick and mortar cigar shops in the U.S.
Yeah.
They had a total of 6,000 cigar shops in the U.S.
Wow.
Triple the amount of cigar shops that are in the U.S. today.
Right.
Wow. That
Oh,
is-
yeah.
Well, I
So
remember
when-
growing up in New York, you had the Tiamo cigar stores.
They
There
were
was
everywhere.
one on every single block.
Yeah.
I mean, it was
Wow.
unbelievable.
Wow. So
Josh wants to know, what was the green coffee bean he had at dinner with you?
oh, so
Who's that?
beautiful. So
Josh, Cedar Creek, Bob.
Yeah.
if we go back in time, and we're going back probably 300 years, 400 years, in the Middle East, it's customary to make espresso type coffee with cardamom seeds.
Oh, wow.
So recently we began importing. Thanks for the shout out, Josh. That's great because I forget. Recently, is my wife texting you, Josh?
I think they're playing she's right there in the comments, cardamom.
Yes. Yes. So maybe she should do the show. I think she'd do a better job. She's better to look at. The cardamom seeds were an old spice traded
Right.
forever and ever.
India, big on cardamom.
Yes. The whole concept of chai tea.
Yep.
If people drink, that's where cardamom seed comes in and plays its part. But we've been making Middle Eastern Arabic style coffee with cardamom seeds to give it that little extra oomph.
Yes.
It gives it a little extra kick that is just, I don't know. Did you enjoy it, Josh? He's probably like, sure, I loved it.
He wants to go back for more.
I mean, I don't think you see too many green coffee beans in Indiana.
No, probably not.
I doubt it.
So we recently started importing. We brought it. We have our first shipment in of cardamom seed from Honduras that we're growing down there. There's a farm where they're growing cardamom seed, and we're going to start importing it.
Wow.
And see, I like to hover in territories where nobody's even thinking about it.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know?
Now, do you have to roast? Do you
get
have
that-
to roast the cardamom the same type of process, or is it totally different?
So the seeds already come dried. They're sun dried. When you're boiling the water, you just dump 1 or 2 seeds in there and you boil the water with it,
Okay.
and it'll pick up all the flavors.
Wow.
Now, what some people do is they take the I think it's called the carapace, the carcass. They open up, not the carcass. That's a dead animal.
He's Vivian when he needs it.
Yeah, you can open up the seed and pull out these little seeds that are inside. These little like, they look like little black licorice seeds.
Okay.
You can pull them out and stick them in the grinder and grind your cup, but that really kicks up the flavor.
Okay.
So if you just take a couple seeds and you put them in the water that's already heating up,
Right.
it'll really pick up those flavors. It's fantastic. It
Interesting.
really is.
Josh did respond, and he says it was wonderful, but we put corn in our coffee.
I figured you would say that.
Of course, in Indiana.
But they always say there's more than corn in Indiana, though. So I mean,
Corn balls at that one, yeah.
Save the corn for the whiskey.
Yeah.
The mash.
Again,
No.
folks, get your watch party. Get this out there. Everybody needs to hear this. Let's go. Share this show.
This is some great information as always, Dr. Gabby.
Absolutely.
Thank you, man.
amazing,
Thank you.
amazing. But as with anything, we should take a quick word
Quick
from
break.
our
Yep.
sponsors, and we'll come back. And
Wow, look at you, Frank, you jumped on me,
Yeah,
huh?
there
You
you
knew
go.
it.
No, well,
Commercial break.
I was reading your mind.
Yes,
You
yes.
are. Be right back. Take it away, Frank.
Before you light your next cigar, be sure to check out Cigar Medics, the makers of the patent-approved humidimeter. The humidimeter is a tool designed to display the relative humidity inside your cigar. With this device, there's no more guessing. Simply insert the probes into the foot or cap of your cigar, and you can instantly know if your cigar is ready to be smoked. Buy now on cigarmedics.com and see site for other cigar accessories. With the humidimeter, you'll know when to hold them and know when to smoke them.
Experience the magic of Rockefeller Cigars today. With 11 years steeped in tradition, passion, and mystery of belief, Rockefeller has a cigar just for you. Be like the greatest magicians and make Rockefeller Cigars appear in your lineup with any of our 4 lines. The Nicaraguan, the Dominican Blue, the Vintage Gold, and our new LE, The Art of Magic. DAV Cigars out of New York. Decades of experience combined with true love and deep understanding of cigars result in the highest of standard of each DAV hand-rolled cigar.
And we are back. And Kyle left for a bathroom break. He knew that we were coming back a little bit early. He said, "Let me disappear on Ron
Real quick."
Yep. He had to do number 1. Yes.
So everybody in the audience, number 1 has been done. So we will not be having to take a pee break anytime soon.
Yes, absolutely. But Gabby, how about what's going on FDA?
Yeah, now we're going to
see what's going on your end and what you know of that we can talk about, because in your industry right now, everybody is kind of concerned and worried about what the future is going to hold for the cigar industry, and all those listeners are very much interested in hearing what is going on.
All right, perfect. That's a great topic. I'm sure if I start talking, he'll be shitting before I.
He's back.
Okay, welcome back.
Hey, when nature calls. Sorry.
It's all right, man. It's all right. So I was asked about the FDA and what's going on with that. So right now, there is a committee that was appointed by the Center for Disease Control to do a review of the scientific literature available over the past 30 years on cigars. And basically, this agency is called the National Academies of Science, Engineering, and Medicine, otherwise known as NASEM, NASEM.
Mm-hmm.
So the courts last year, I think it was last year, time's flying when you're locked up, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
COVID tamper on that.
Yeah, I think Judge Mehta appointed the CDC to do some research on cigars to figure out how to regulate them, right? So NASEM took about a year. I think they started last April. Yeah, April.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
And they have been reviewing a lot of the literature, and a lot of their meetings have been public, meaning you can go on YouTube and watch them.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Just type in NASEM space cigars, and you'll see those interviews or those sessions come up.
Yeah.
So about October, I'd say October, the Boutique Cigar Association became aware of what NASEM was doing. And we figured we got this window of opportunity of a year to shed some light on what premium cigars are. Because when you take, and I've been there, right? I went to University of California, Irvine, ranked number 8 in the United States for biology.
Wow.
I've been in those educational institutions where you're like a horse with blinders on looking at research papers that these people don't have the time to really look up and see what the culture of premium cigars is all about.
Right.
It's a culture. It's not an addiction. It's a hobby. It's not something that you wake up in the morning and you're jonesing for a cigarette, right?
Right.
No.
So NASM will be reporting, ironically, on March 10th at, I think, 10 a.m. It's a public meeting being held. I will be there listening to what their final conclusions are when it comes to cigars. Now, based on their findings and recommendations of how premium cigars should be regulated, they're not going to be implementing regulations.
Right.
They're making recommendations that then the FDA has to take and basically develop the final ruling.
Right.
However, there's a problem that I observed with NASM is that they have clumped the scientific research that they're reviewing has clumped in all types of cigars, small cigars, machine-made cigars, cigarillos, flavored cigars. So of the 5 billion cigars that are sold in the United States yearly, only about 350 million are premium cigars. So my concern is the scientific literature that they've reviewed doesn't really apply to premium cigars.
Right.
Now, the court did accept and adopt the definition that our industry worked so hard for, and I'll give credit to PCA and CRA for pulling this off, is that they developed a definition that segments the premium cigar industry.
Yes.
The court adopted it. However, I don't know if NASM did during their research, and I don't know if the FDA has yet, but I believe that they will.
Okay.
So it's going to be a waiting game. Thursday, we're going to hear a lot of interesting news. I'm really hoping that the 58 pages of science and literature and notes that we submitted as small family-owned boutique cigar makers, I'm hoping that it will shed some light on why premium cigars are different than all other combustible tobacco products.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what's going on. This Thursday is going to be huge. I'm sure you're going to see press releases from everybody this Thursday.
Oh, I'm sure.
Talking about NASM's findings. And then we have to just wait and see what the FDA does with that.
And have you seen? Did they lump in pipe tobaccos into this at all? Have you seen anywhere where that's been fallen into anything?
No, this is strictly cigars.
Okay.
Now,
this is strict.
In your opinion, what would be a worst case scenario and a best case scenario?
Yeah. Great question.
Worst case scenario is they do what they've always done, which is classify us as just a tobacco product that has nicotine, and we're evil and we're bad, right?
Right.
Which is not true.
Not
right.
good.
Which is correct. It's not true. We all know that.
Mm-hmm.
The best case scenario is, I always look at finances when it comes to anything a government does, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And they eventually will have to look at the cost of regulating premium cigars, and is it cost effective? Like, are we seeing a benefit? Like, I've talked to many doctors, and I can't say that, this is a very tough, and I talked to Dr. Rodriguez about this, Dr. Garo, talked to a lot of doctors about. My brother's a fantastic physician in Florida. Everything, it's cigars in moderation are not bad for you, right? The science proves it.
Right.
However, do we see any disease developing from cigar smoking when it's done in moderation? And I think the answer is no. Yeah. I mean, I don't see it. I never saw it in my career.
Yeah.
When I say my career, I mean, I'm a guy that performed over 2,000 amputations when I was practicing. And the reason I did some. That was my specialty. I was a lower extremity specialist.
Okay.
And I did a fellowship in lower extremity amputation prevention, and we studied pathology and disease a lot. We looked at diabetes, we looked at obesity, we looked at peripheral vascular disease. We looked at a lot of things that caused people to develop infections and gangrene and have to get amputations. And not once in my professional career was a cigar to blame.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
It was always having to do with poor health related to obesity, poorly managed diabetes, poorly managed other peripheral diseases, atherosclerosis. The best case scenario is we're not worth it.
Mm-hmm.
That's what
it's such a small audience when you really look at it. Do you really think they're going to spend that much time and energy in what's the percentage of the cigars? What is it that how many people are in it compared to everything else? What is there? Is there a number, Gabby?
So it's 0.07% of the U.S. population.
Wow.
Smokes premium cigars on average 1 to 2 cigars a month.
Wow.
So actually the average at 1.7 cigars a month is what it is.
Wow.
And that's
So-
nothing. With everything else that they need to worry about and all the other diseases and stuff that's happening, 1.7%.
Yep.
Why are they investing so much time and energy into this when there's so many other things that they can worry about and be involved in? This, I mean, again, it's a pure natural product. I mean, it's a leaf, it's ground, there's no chemicals. Why are they getting so involved in this? I mean, who's pulling their strings to get this involved? Now, we know about the mental part of it. They're talking about that again. They're worried about the kids and the cigarette part of it.
But there's so many other chemicals involved with that process that is causing the adverse effects.
Right.
This is the insurance companies basing this whole thing on cigarettes and the damage that cigarette smoking does.
Yes.
And they're just lumping this all together. It's because it's tobacco. It's just put it all together, and this is what they're really going after.
Well, the vape didn't help us, Bob. The
vaping and all that other stuff that's going on. I don't think it really is. The premium cigar is not their main focus. It's trying to exterminate cigarettes, and that's what it really has been for years.
Right.
It's the 60s they've been trying to go after it,
There's two things, right? There's youth access,
right,
and there's addiction, nicotine addiction, right?
Yes.
And when you look at youth access, that's why there was such a big fiasco in the cigar industry the past couple of weeks about certain companies and certain brands developing products that give the appearance that they are marketing to minors, even though they are not.
Yeah.
But right now we're walking on eggshells, right? We're walking on broken glass, and what we want to do is we want to make sure that we don't piss off the tiger right now.
Right.
We all want to be on our best behavior, and whether or not we don't know what the FDA is going to do, but we don't want to give them another reason to go down the path of worst case scenario. So there's ways to say these things, and there's ways to make publications and posts where you're attacking somebody. It's such a small industry, man. Pick up the fucking phone, call each other.
That's true.
I was branding something. I think I was infringing on somebody's trademark. And you know what? They picked up the phone and called me, and they said, "Hey, man, just so you know, we already have that trademark. Don't waste your money. We don't want to have to send you a cease and desist." This is the type of industry that we're in.
Yeah.
This is not public shaming or pointing fingers or you're the bad guy or
right.
I mean, we all have to respect each other and respect the way we run our businesses, because none of us is perfect, number one. And I don't think any of us are marketing to minors. None of us are.
No, nobody is. Let's face it. You can call something Rocky Road or an ice cream type flavor, but ultimately, children are not seeing that advertising because that advertising is directed to adults for adults.
And children don't go into
cigar shops
and say,
Right.
"Mommy, Daddy, buy me that cigar,"
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
Because it looks like a chocolate bar.
This is where the responsibility factor comes in, because you don't blame the guy that had the idea, right?
Right.
That's the easy thing to do. There's 4, 5, 6 different players involved in that process.
Sure.
You've got the cigar factory.
Yep.
You know, when the cigar factory receives those bans, they can choose whether or not they're going to do that business.
Right.
When the distributor is importing the product into the United States, the importer has the choice whether or not they want to bring in, Laffy Taffy cigars or something.
Right.
You got the manufacturer, the importer, the distributor, you got the sales staff, you got the retailers,
you got the box maker, you've got everybody involved.
So you can't just blame one person. And right now, I think let's just sit tight. Let's not piss anybody off.
Yep.
But if we do analyze the structure of the businesses that were creating those products, I don't mind mentioning Privada Cigar Club. I think they've done great things.
Yep.
It's a private club. It's an adults-only club.
Yep.
Everybody they do business with is vetted. It's a private organization. All the cigar lounges are privately owned by adults. These are adult establishments. But however, here's the problem, right? Is when brand A and owner B decide to do a press release.
Mm-hmm.
So this is the final. I mentioned the 4, 5, 6 different people that can decide whether or not they want to entertain that brand. But the bloggers can choose not to do a press release.
Right.
Because what the FDA is doing is they go on Google and they look up new releases for the cigar industry.
Right.
And all these names are popping up. So it's also the blogger's responsibility to say, I won't do it. I'm sorry. And that's what we saw recently.
Yep.
So, but it's a waiting game right now. We got to wait and see what's going to happen. I think it's going to be an interesting year. I think we're going to see continued consolidation in the industry. We're seeing big news come out of the biggest corporations. Profits are through the roof. And when companies make a shit ton of money, they need to spend it so that they have tax write-offs.
Yeah.
Right.
We're seeing Cigars International opening up 8 stores in the next 5 years.
I know.
So I think we're going to see expansion and consolidation, and they're seeing that premium cigars are the future.
So you're saying my Dutch masters are not in jeopardy?
White out.
And that's the other thing. I mean, our grandfather smoked White Owl, Dutch
Smoked rope.
Masters.
I mean, anything he could get his hands on.
And he lived to be 92.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's tough to say that cigar smoking is bad for you. So, and he smoked a few cigars per day.
Oh,
Per day, quite a few.
I would say 5, 6 cigars.
Yeah, and he had them in his pocket
all the time.
Wow.
He was burned at a lower level. I mean, they just nonstop.
You mean he
nonstop.
wasn't at Churchill level? He wasn't doing 10 a day?
You know what? Maybe.
might have been.
K-Day.
Might have been. I mean, from the time he got up, he came out of the bedroom smoking a cigar.
Yeah.
Non-stop.
Did not die of cancer. I mean,
I got to show you this because I mean I'm literally smoking all the way down to the nub here.
Oh yeah,
this is just a delicious Maduro Kafie here. I mean,
Thank you so much, man. Thank you.
Delicious.
Enough.
I'm the same way. Nothing left.
Delicious, guys.
Can't
Enjoy them.
Smoke.
By the way, the batch of cigars that we have from Honduras, we've only got about. We did inventory the other day. Vivian, could you chime in if I'm right or wrong? I think we have like
She will.
Vivian!
yeah, we've got I think around 175,000 cigars left from Honduras.
Wow.
And once they're gone forever.
Mm.
So if anybody likes to collect cigars or anything, hunt them down.
And put them in the humidor and in there.
We haven't done any price increases because we want to respect that production. We want it to go out to the same retailers who've been supporting us. But they're great cigars, and I might actually keep some for myself and just not touch them ever.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
why not?
Well, those will be part of your history. You know?
Until of course my wife and I go away and the kids have a house party and they get fucking drunk and smoke them all.
Lock the factory up.
Make sure you lock the liquor cabinet up. So
Yes. Oh man, I had my son going through my liquor today. He's like, "Well, Dad, this looks expensive." I'm like, "I'm gonna put it down."
Nice one. That's a good one indeed. But
Well,
yeah,
we're going to trying the new cigars.
Yes.
And in 3 months, you predicted? 3
3
4
months. 3 months. So we're
summertime.
3 months. Yeah.
So we're doing. It's going to come in phases, right? Because we're producing a lot of cigars, and whenever they're ready. So the first ones that are going to be coming in are the Series L, the natural, which I've been working on for over a year and a half. That's our 7th anniversary cigar. It's called the Series L because L in Roman numerals is a 50, which I turned 50 this past year.
Great.
No, it's not fucking great. I had to get a colonoscopy.
Get the shit out.
Literally.
Yeah, keep drinking that.
Yeah.
Bob is going to have a very big birthday coming up in November.
We don't need that. We don't need to go there. You know,
the big one.
Wow, that's great.
21.
But we got the Series L coming in, plus the other 4 blends: the Sumatra, the San Andres, the Habano Maduro, and the Connecticut.
Perfect.
They're all going to come in, but in 2 sizes only: Robusto and Toro. And then in the fall, we're going to bring in 3 other sizes for those 5 premium lines.
Okay.
Wow, nice.
Wow.
We're coming out also with our Liga de la Casa, which is a trademark that we own, which in Spanish means house blend.
Uh-huh.
We're coming out with 3 lines. It's going to be a bundles. It's going to be a premium long filler bundles line. That's going to retail for about $4 a cigar.
Okay.
Ooh.
Fantastic.
Nice.
We're doing 4 sizes, 3 blends: a Connecticut, a Habano, and a natural. And then we love the concept of value. We want to give people the best cigars for the best price. We're coming out with a budget line of bundles that are going to be 3 different blends: natural, a Maduro, and a Connecticut. And what we're doing is this budget line is going to be all medium filler.
Okay.
With double binder and a beautiful wrapper. And we're taking all the tobaccos that are left over from our premium lines.
Mm-hmm.
And we're taking those medium-sized 3 to 5 inch pieces and we're putting them in the filler of that. So we're going to have 3 tier levels, three price points. One will be about, I'd say, $2.50 to $3 a cigar. The next level will be about $4 to $4.50. And then we're going to bump it up to maybe $9 to $11 on the premium side.
So you weren't joking around. You are making cheap fucking cigars.
You have to edit
This show's already got a bunch of edits.
You're rubbing off on Kyle there, Gabby.
Yeah, sorry.
I got a question though. Have you ever thought about doing a Lancero?
Wow.
Yeah.
You know what I'll do? We're doing a Corona.
Okay.
A Corona's a 5.5 by 42. A Lancero's like a 7 by 38.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the toughest sellers. What I think I'll do is, and this will come next year, not this year.
Yeah.
I'll do a sampler. I'll do a sampler of the 5 blends in Lanceros, all of them.
Ooh, wow.
That's the only way I would do it. That way you could take the journey.
Yes. Yes.
Ooh,
I love it.
That.
And I think it needs to be sold as a box. None of this,
Yeah.
If retailers get them, they should sell it as the box, not individuals.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
I love Lanceros. I love Coronas even more.
Okay.
Coronas.
Look at these guys.
Yeah.
Look at this. This is now 1 hour and 35 minutes, folks.
Yeah.
1 hour, 35 minutes. Look how slow. And I've been really hitting this hard. This is how long a cigar will last.
Well,
It's unbelievable.
I lit this one up
Even
at
before.
7.
Wow.
I lit this one up at 7. Now, I've been
Wow.
talking a lot, but I mean, this is a great cigar. Great
You know,
cigar.
it's talking about fermentation. Tobacco is really. I've heard tobacco is described as the biggest enemy in the cigar making world, right? Tobacco's like that psychotic girlfriend that we all met at one point in our lives.
Have we met that one?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, she's
And-
long gone.
As much as you try to tame, you can't.
Can't domesticate that one.
And what's happened in the past 2 years is we all saw the imports shoot past 400 million cigars in 2021 into the U.S. So as cigar production goes up and it's crazy, everyone's trying to import as much as they can because it's all flying off the shelves.
Mm-hmm.
The cigar making process may have been accelerated. So you may start finding cigars that were made of tobacco that wasn't fermented properly.
Yeah.
Ooh.
And I know that right away because I get that bitterness.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's bad. And I just put it down because I'm like, nope,
Get
can't-
that
can't-
ammonia.
Yeah,
like, still in
exactly.
there.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So that I think the reason I bring that up is we double ferment our tobacco.
Okay.
So when we buy tobacco, when we were buying tobacco in Honduras, it was already fermented. We'd put it through a second fermentation cycle. So what happens to the tobacco becomes naturally oilier, thicker, burns slower.
Yes.
It's more dense, and it has better flavors.
Right.
And mind you, we were working with 2 to 3 year age tobacco. Now we're going into deeper territory. Here's what people ask me: what's the difference between the cigars you were making and the ones you're making now? If any of you drink like a rum, like Flor de Caña, have you ever had
Yes.
that rum? Okay,
Yes.
You've all had the 7 year, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's 4 year, there's 7 year, and then there's like 18 year.
Exactly.
And the difference is you're going to see in our cigars is we're going from 7 to 18.
Wow.
So
Okay.
You're doubling that fermentation, that aging process.
But the flavors, the
And the
palate,
flavors, yeah,
everything.
Right.
So our cigars are really made for people. I wouldn't say. I want to go after the connoisseurs. I want people that smoke the great brands to smoke our stuff.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
You know.
I think more people are now really trying boutique cigars in general. They all know the big names. They've all been smoking them for decades, to say.
And I don't want to speak for Gabby, but I would imagine he's not looking to replace that big name, but he wants to complement that big name.
Yeah.
Smoking.
No, he's going to be a big name.
No. Oh, I love you, man. I love you. I love you.
He already is, but now he's going to be bigger.
I love you, man. But everyone talks about, I want to be a part of the rotation, right? We all have a cigar rotation.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah.
Very few people smoke just one cigar every day for the rest of their lives. They usually have a rotation, and I want to be a part of people's rotation.
Mm-hmm.
And you should.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And those who are listening, I hope they take us seriously because, the crew here smoked a lot of different cigars.
Mhm.
And you really do have a fantastic line. You
Thank
did,
you.
and I can just imagine what the next line is going to be in 3 months.
Thank you. Thank you.
Gabby, we know you do things right. We know you do
It's
everything
painful.
you like painfully, but we know your MO. So perfection is nothing, you're not going to accept anything but perfection before you put it out.
Well, I appreciate that very much. Since day one that I got into this industry, this is all that I've done, 100%. So I see a lot of people out there that want to be in the industry, but they are always doing something else.
Yeah.
So 9 to 5 is this, and
Right.
when 9 to 5 ends, then 5 to midnight. Guess what I'm doing? I'm doing this.
Right.
Yeah.
It really is. I get text messages from all over. I'm not bragging by any means, but and you guys have been to my house and you've seen my office here, and the real mindset behind building an office on my property was I'm getting text messages at 1 o'clock in the morning and 2 o'clock in the morning because they're waking up in New Zealand.
Yes.
Oh,
So-
good old, yeah, Mike in Australia is always touching
Yes,
base.
yes. So tomorrow I'm meeting actually our distributor from Ghana was at the Pro Cigar Festival. Now he's in Miami and I'm getting together with him. So
Awesome.
we distribute cigars in 4 different regions of Africa.
Awesome.
It's really, really amazing. And I think it's a testament to, I don't want to say noise, but our brand has a voice.
Right.
And every brand out there, what I want people to take, and when I founded the Boutique Cigar Association, it was really to help people develop their businesses.
Right.
And then it turned into a let's protect our businesses from the FDA. But every brand has an aura. You know how people have an aura.
Right.
Like I can look at you guys and I'm getting energy from either in person or through this platform. Really negative energy I'm getting. No, I'm just kidding.
Get me out of here.
Age is what you're feeling from Bob.
Yeah.
No. You guys are beautiful. I love you guys. But every human being has this aura.
True.
That's what makes us special. It's our spirit. It's our soul. It's who we are as people. And I want people to understand that whatever brand they develop, that brand has to develop its own aura.
Right.
And that aura, no matter where it's at, if it's in Florida, New York, Texas, Ghana, South Africa, that message transcends the geographical location.
Right.
And that's something that you can't do part-time.
No.
You have to be all in.
Yes.
And that's why when you see a brand on the market that has a disconnect, it's because the owner's doing something else.
Right.
Yep.
Right.
That we are the messengers of each and every single cigar that we put out. And in the past 8 years, I think people always ask, how many cigars do you sell? We've sold a few million cigars already. And we've handled the orders, we've packed the orders, we've done the processing, the shipping, pallets, we've done everything. And one of the things that we take great pride in is that every order that goes out has to go out looking like a Christmas present.
Right.
Yep.
Yes.
We package, because we order stuff from different people and we see how it's packaged and how it looks like shit.
Right.
The box is like a blender box that they got from somebody else, and it's packed with old newspapers, and you're like, what the? I just spent $500 on this. Why does it look like shit?
Yeah.
Right.
So,
True. Your
Right.
package when we order is brand new, all brand new stuff, no secondhand box, and you and Vivian do a fantastic job.
but
And
yeah,
for listening, it's the truth. They put it out as a brand new item, and you're getting their cigars packed like with the personal touch.
Well, it is. It's part of his brand, and when it's received, people acknowledge that. They can see that there's love.
It's a personal touch.
Exactly.
You're not getting something in a used post office box.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Right.
We're blessed because we have a lot of different sponsors and different cigar manufacturers that do things that are special with shipping, like Howard over at Howard G Cigars. He puts in a personal note with every order. He signs a personal note thanking folks.
that's fantastic.
How just that little message.
Yes, absolutely.
It
means a lot.
It means a lot.
Oh,
And it's not a printed note.
No.
It's written right there. It's signed by him.
Yep.
Thanking for the order. Yeah. So again, little things like that really do make an impression on the buyer, and it brings them that much.
It does.
You know
It's
what?
huge.
I'm
That's
gonna
those
order again.
people that will stand out.
Absolutely.
And we like to send little gifts out with every shipment.
Which is awesome.
Sometimes, if there's room, we'll throw in a bag of coffee, we'll throw in a cigar they haven't tried, we'll throw in something.
Yes, you have. Yes.
And my biggest critic is Vivian, who, by the way, I taught to pack orders, but now she's criticizing me.
The student has become the teacher.
Well, not for anything, I'm keeping counts. That's 4 days in the doghouse.
Don't worry.
Sorry.
Doctor,
Sorry.
you're invited up here in Lake Mary. You can stay a night or two. I don't mind.
Beautiful, beautiful. We got to make our way up there. That's a great part of the country. Florida,
Absolutely.
Lake Mary, it's a hidden gem. Well, 20 years ago when I was there was a hidden gem. Now I'm sure it's getting
Pretty
packed.
built up. Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Not so hidden. Let's
Yes,
put it
yeah.
that way.
Wow.
It's still
Wow.
a great
But
place.
that
to
whole
visit.
area is booming in
Yes.
itself. And again, Florida is the capital, cigar capital of the states, as it is. Everything is happening in Florida, and that's where you got to be. And again, that's where Frank and Bob are now going to be doing a lot more shows and travel through Florida and doing more events for us down there because they're in the heartland.
This
It
is the
is, it
heartbeat
is.
of the industry. This is it.
It is. It is. I want to talk to you guys about something a little different that not a lot of people talk about, but we always talk about cigar making, right?
Mhm.
There is different elements. If we put the cigars and the tobacco aside and we start looking at the business structure, I want the boutiques out there to acknowledge some of these things, right? Your company, your tax ID number, your tobacco licenses, wholesale, retail, distribution, import licenses. Then we go into trademarks. You don't just slap a cigar band on a cigar and start selling it. You have to go through the administrative process of actually building a company that you can protect, because a lot of people out there are releasing cigars that have no trademarks.
Yeah.
And then they're ending up in cease and desist or lawsuits or intellectual property infringement. Then you go into the design, right? You have to have a really good team of graphic designers.
Yes.
You can't design a cigar band. I don't care how great you are. You have to hire the pros to do this. The cigar band, the colors, the concept, the name, the logos, the font you're using. Are you copying a font that somebody else used? Are you taking a crest that somebody else used? Are you basically taking old artwork and just bringing it back to life because people forgot that it existed 80 years ago? This is a very labor intensive and thought intensive industry. And when you make the boxes, what kind of wood are you using? How much does the box weigh? How do the cigars fit in the box? Are they loose? Could they get damaged during transport? The process of developing a cigar brand is something that I am still learning. And we see who's perfected it, but they've been in the industry for 50 years. Plus 50 years plus. So when you start seeing boutiques come out and they're hitting the market, listen, in this market, when I first got into the cigar industry, I remember I was talking to the old factory I was with because my 30,000 cigars were coming in. And I said, well, what happens if I can't sell these cigars? He's like, don't worry, I'll sell them for you. So it's happened to me as well, where I've started producing cigars for somebody else and they get worried. And what happens if I can't sell them? Don't worry. I would tell them, I'll sell them for you. The point is that every cigar sells.
Yes.
Right. There's a customer for every cigar made in America.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean you're going to build a good company.
Right.
Yeah.
People need to take the time to build their infrastructure, their licenses, their permits, their EIN number, their business, their personal and business credit scores.
Right.
You need to respect what every business in America has. The whole concept of going door to door, selling cigars out of your trunk, you're going to get caught sooner or later.
Right.
Don't do it. This is a federally regulated product.
Exactly.
They have made it illegal to ship free samples to people. If you're going to give a free sample to, let's say I'm in a store, the law states that I have to give the sample to the buyer in the store, and he has to smoke it in front of me. So this is it's literally regulated like Schedule II narcotics. I mean, they're that strict with it. They want to they're looking at the number of cigars that we bring into the U.S., and then they want to see reports of where those cigars went.
Right.
Yeah.
Because they want to get their taxes.
right?
Yep.
So I beg everybody, if you're a boutique cigar brand owner, have a good accountant, have a good attorney. That's the first. If you don't have a good accountant or a good attorney that's helping you establish all your business structure, please don't invest a lot of money in a cigar brand.
Yes.
And stay up with FDA compliance. There are attorneys out there that specialize in FDA regulation on premium cigars, and go find one. I would recommend ours, but he's full.
Oh yeah. And with that, hey Frank, do you have any more sponsor?
I do. I have one more round of sponsors, and then what do you think we should do, Ron?
Smoke
the Chew.
My favorite part of the show, because I'm a history buff. We're going to come back after this round of sponsors with Smoke the Chooch, folks.
RnA Treasures out of Tampa Bay, Florida. The last of a legacy. The last of an inventory of Thomas Cristiano in a warehouse where everything is aged and well kept for all your pipe and smoking needs. Loyalty, passion, courage. These are the founding principles of K by Karen Berger Cigars. The Maduro, the Habano, and the newly rated 93 by Cigar Journal Connecticut. Do yourself a favor and check out this wonderful line of cigars that come from a completely linear company from seed to your hands. Howard G Cigars is a dynamic new cigar brand, grown from a love for cigar culture.
Whoops. I don't know what that was. That was like going into like a.
That was the remix, Frank.
That was the remix.
That's the remix version.
That was like I was doing scratching the. I don't know what happened. Gremlin.
Howard, I promise. Wow, that was a good one, Frank.
There you go.
Technical.
You know what? It's the technical gremlins that always hits our show. You know, this wouldn't be a Chooch show without some technical gremlins.
Exactly. So it's time to play, and I put up the graphic.
Smoke
the
Chooch.
Sponsored by our buddy David Blanco at the Blanco Cigar Company. So, and we always have fun with this segment, and we usually try to give away something where the folks at home can play along.
Absolutely.
So
they love that.
They do. They do love to play along. So we figured, what would we throw out there? I know I'm willing to give a cigar or two from my Kafie stash that I just got as a gift.
Oh, you give your cigars. I'm keeping mine.
Well, Bob is very tight. Yeah, he hasn't opened up his wallet since I think he moved to Florida.
There's nothing left in the wallet.
Myself and Kyle. Don't worry, we'll take care of our Chooch family out there. So we want to definitely share the gift of a Kafie with the folks out there. So that'll happen. Yeah, look at that. Beautiful.
Tonight's giveaway, folks. A 4-pack from Kafie 1901.
Absolutely. So we have to go to some good questions for you guys. Now, Dr. Gaby, you're going to have an advantage on answering, because I want you to answer this if you know the answer. Obviously, you have a little bit more schooling than the rest of the panel. So I expect big things from you, Doctor. So not to put you on the spot.
Wow, no, not at all. Not at all.
Give him a medical question. Go ahead.
All right. Let's see. Okay, I'm going to go back to 1917.
Bob was born.
This event was often called the February Revolution March, 1917, in the Western calendar against Tsarist rule. What was this?
Can you repeat that whole thing once more?
Okay, the beginning. This was often called the February Revolution March of 1917
Wow.
in the Western calendar.
Mm.
What was this?
The Russian Revolution.
It has some relevance to things that are happening today in today's world.
It sounds Russian to me.
The Russian Revolution.
It was the Russian Revolution. The Russian Revolution.
Our friend Onstark had that Russian Revolution.
Wow. Wow.
Yep. Okay, I'm going to move a few years ahead.
Yes, yes.
A few years, not many years, a few.
Coming to America.
When Bob was in diapers then.
Yeah, Bob was in diapers. Okay, this is 1936. 1936, on this date in history. For the first time ever, this was done. And it was a race organized specifically for stock cars. Where and what was the race?
Daytona 500? No.
It was the Daytona car racing. It originated in 1930.
Wow.
Okay.
1936.
Very good. Very good.
There you go.
Look at you, Ron. I'm a little shocked that you got that, but you know.
Oh wow! Well, thank you so much.
We did see a building.
The first building that was set up for
beach racing.
The racing.
Yeah, beach racing.
Wow.
Still there. Absolutely. Okay, 1969, folks. One of my favorite years.
Yes.
The Mets won the World Series.
The Knicks win the championship. The Jets. The year
of New York.
Okay.
All right.
This was the first release of a Pontiac muscle car. What was it?
In what year?
1969.
GTO Firebird. No.
Ronnie?
Trans Am.
The Pontiac Firebird Trans.
Oh, shit. Yes.
Trans Am. The Trans Am.
Yep.
Very good. One more for you guys. And then we'll go to the question for the audience. Okay.
No, Bruce, it wasn't Smokey and the Bandit.
Well, he drove the Firebird Trans Am.
He drove it.
There you go.
All right. In 1999. This baseball legend dies at the age of 84. And he played his entire career from 1936 to 1951 for one team. Who was it? Look at Ronnie. I knew he was going to get Joe DiMaggio. Joe DiMaggio.
Jumping.
Ronnie. Yep.
That was
Not too many
impressive.
people can say that they played for one organization.
Pretty amazing, isn't it?
That's
not now, but back then that's all they did.
Yeah.
That was big for them. Yep.
Exactly.
And then he was a spokesman for Mr. Coffee.
Right. Then he was Mr. Coffee. So it does tie into today.
Coffee. There you go.
There you go, Mr. Coffee.
Absolutely. Okay, this is for the audience, folks. So
for Gaby Cigars, folks.
Get your Alexas and Googles ready.
Okay. And I'm going to give a visual aid. Okay, this song, made famous by being featured in the 1970s movie, went on to being one of the few instrumentals to be awarded a gold record, folks. This song, I need the name of the song.
70s. 1973.
And an instrument.
Google is working overtime.
Google is working overtime.
Alan Gold.
Alan Gold says Love Story. That's not a winner. No.
Love Story, Alan Gold.
Alan Gold. I don't see too many. Where's Bruce? Where's Bruce on this? Bruce.
Was he on tonight?
Greece. Nice try. That was a good try, Antonius. That's a good try, but no.
No cigar.
No cigars. No cigars. I will give one hint. One hint. The movie starred Burt Reynolds. The movie starred Burt Reynolds. It was an instrumental.
Oh, God.
In that movie. Epic.
I know.
Wow.
Yes,
Epic. This is epic, folks.
No, it was not Exorcist, Tim.
Has to be something from Queen.
Come on, you gave it away. That hint was the giveaway.
Oh, I'm going to give one more hint because I think people are really
that hint
falling
was the
asleep.
whole thing.
I know, but I'm going to give one other hint. The movie was Deliverance.
Oh man.
Come on.
I'm actually disappointed. I'm going to keep the cigars. Hey, Tim, finally. Tim, dueling banjos. That is
Nice.
correct.
Of course.
Dueling
Hold it. Alan Carson got dueling banjos a while ago. He dueling banjos by Alan. Sorry, brother-in-law.
Yeah, right after.
But Alan Carson got that right after Alan Gold said "Love Story."
Once you said that, the first was the whole thing, right?
I
there.
know.
That was the hint. I mean,
I know.
Easy.
All right. Sorry,
I'll
Tim.
bring some cigars with you, Tim. We'll get some. We'll smoke them down there in Florida.
There you go.
All right, we'll do that. I have to be honest. There you go.
Wheel like a pig.
Yeah. Great movie. And it was a great song.
It was.
Yeah. Squeal like a pig. Absolutely.
Oh man. Oh boy. Oh boy.
Oh wow. Anyway. All right. Well, hey.
That's a wrap. Huh?
Thank you so much.
Thank
for
It is.
all
It
the
is.
information.
Thank
We're
you, guys.
wishing you and your new line all the best. We absolutely cannot wait to taste them and smoke them. That's for sure.
Thank you, guys. It's a journey. You guys, this is the first show I've done where we really dive into what's going on, and I'm really grateful to you guys for allowing me to do this. You know, this platform is, it's funny, right? When we look at history now, people don't reference books any longer.
True.
And my kids are 13 and 10, and they're going to be able to reference this tonight. So I'll make sure they earmuff it. I'll make sure.
I'll get rid of the bad word. I don't know about your son drinking your liquor cabinet. We have no control of the liquor cabinet at your place.
But this is great. And you know, the other thing that's great is I have this thing where I make verbal contracts with myself, right? So I don't say anything that doesn't come true, God willing, right? So everything that we discuss is real time. It's facts. It's no illusions. It's not fiction. This is really what I'm going through. And it's very difficult. Like I said before, I'm going all in. I've never invested so much money in anything in my entire life before. And I really believe in our future. And I think that we're going to build something really nice that's going to continue to take care of our family and a lot of people that are part of our company. One of the things that makes me really proud is, you know, I went from a place of a limited budget to now working with a company that has 100-year history and, of course, a legendary name, but also very well established. And the company that I decided to work with is also an avid supporter of our great organization in terms of PCA and CRA. So I'm now working with a company that is very proactive in leading the charge with all these regulations taking place. And that to me is what brings me real happiness at the end of the day. So small companies, you know, we can't go to the trade show, spend $100,000. We're going to try to go this year. I can't guarantee it, but our goal is to eventually make it there. But we need to get our products first and make sure we hit the show. We operate a little bit different. I'm going to take up another minute of your time.
Absolutely.
We're very inventory intensive. A lot of companies, they like to go to the show and show samples, and then the product is delivered 3 to 4 months later. I like to have inventory for all of our current customers.
Right.
And when we can build up our inventory reserve so that we can go to a show and ship the week after, that's when we'll go to the show. I think when people spend money, they deserve to get the product immediately.
Awesome.
True.
So
Very
yeah.
nice. It's the right way to do it. And when you are ready for the release, let us know. You know, the crew is here to help promote and get the word out for you, because that's what the Great Lakes Smoke Show does.
Absolutely. I appreciate that very much, and I'll get samples to you guys. And this is going to be a fun journey, and I'm happy to to be on this journey with you guys. Thank you very much.
We're happy to be with your journey.
I can't wait till next year when he's going to release that 5-pack Lancero sampler.
I bet you can.
Yes.
Kyle's going to hold you to it.
No, that's great. Lots of good things to come. Slow and steady. That's it. Slow and steady.
Thank you so much again.
Thank you, guys.
And everything you do for this
Thank
industry.
you. Thank you, man. I don't do enough, but thank you very much.
And again, from all of us, all of you, we hope you had an amazing evening tonight with Dr. Gaby Kafie, and you learned so much. And stay tuned. Make sure you get your orders in as soon as the release comes. And until next week, from all of us to all of you, great one, everybody.
Thanks, guys.
Good night, everybody.
Thank you, guys.
Many of the cigar brands that we make, they're antique, historic cigar brands. They've been made on and off for about 100 years.
When you're smoking Toscano, you're smoking 206 years of history.
The Italians are here.
We're in the house. For some reason, we find a lot of Italians on this show.
Listen, I'm a Jersey guy.
Hey,
so,
we won't hold that against you.
We invented this we want to give people the opportunity to smoke the cigar at the optimal level.
The Chooch cigar.
Can you believe it?
The Blanco 9 Chooch.
¿Cómo va? ¿Está bien, oye?
¿Qué dice? ¿Cómo está?
Finally, I can answer the question. Anything new?
Yeah.
And we have some cool new stuff from Oliva.
This is a passion for me. It's not a job.
Your love and passion for this is,
I love it.
unbelievable.
That's why we can make pipes out of this variety of corn.
11 years ago, I went back. I bought the rights to everything La Polina.
Sure, it's family.
And restarted the brand again as a tribute to my grandfather.
It's nice because you get to see a lot of your friends. You got to remember, I've been doing this for 30 years, so a lot of these people are like family.
Build a platform where we could celebrate boutique cigars.
Leave Starlight House blend for one store in Pennsylvania.
Wow.
Join forces of pipe tobacco and
superheroes. I always look forward to the Super Bowl events, and I always look at the trade show as just one of those things.
We're not just selling cigars. We try to live our lives, and we use this as a means to share our stories and to really create community.
Hold on, man. Wow, man, you got me.
Tell my brothers to line them up. We'll drink that whiskey from those old dirty cups. We'll toast to the present, the future, and the past. This ain't my first drink, but it ain't my last. 'Cause this world is so beautiful. I see its love come shining through. This world is so beautiful. I see its love come shining.